hence also any aspiration of impartial order, any which depends for its wisdom on the justice of our perception. Here, the great obstacles are these. Firstly, the misunderstanding of self, and secondly, the resistance of the rational mind against its own conclusions. Men must cast off these two restrictions. They must begin to realize that self is hidden.
Dr. Rowland, he's been...
Hello, Dr. Rowland. I've been patiently waiting.
Your old side didn't kill me. He's...
Yet let it not be forgotten that though she be love, her function is but passive. She is the vehicle of the word of Kakma, wisdom, the old father, who is the will of the old one, and thus they err. With grievous error and dire who prate of love is the formula of magic. Love is unbalanced, void, vague, undirected, sterile, nay, more the very share the prey of abject odds, demonic.
Okay.
Love must be under will. Truth. Nothing but the realization, born sooner or later, of agonizing experience that its whole relation to Ruach and Nefesh with matter, with the universe, is and must be only painful. The senselessness of the whole procedure sickens it. It begins to seek for some menstruum in which the universe may become intelligible, useful, and enjoyable. In Kabbalistic language, it aspires to neshama. This is what we mean in saying that the trance of sorrow is the motive of the great work. This trance of sorrow, which must be well distinguished from any petty, personal despair, any conviction of sin, or other black magical imitations being cosmic in scope. Comprehending all phenomena, actual or potential, is then already an opening of the sphere of neshama. The awareness of one's misfortune is itself an indication of the remedy. It sets the seeker on the right road. Nothing but the realization, born sooner or later, of agonizing experience that its whole relation to Ruach and Nefesh with matter, with the universe, is and must be only painful. The senselessness of the whole procedure sickens it. It begins to seek for some menstruum in which the universe may become intelligible, useful, and enjoyable. In Kabbalistic language, it aspires to neshama. This is what we mean in saying that the trance of sorrow is the motive of the great work. This trance of sorrow, which must be well distinguished from any petty, personal despair, any conviction of sin, or other black magical imitations being cosmic in scope. Comprehending all phenomena, actual or potential, is then already an opening of the sphere of neshama. The awareness of one's misfortune is itself an indication of the remedy. It sets the seeker on the right road. Nothing but the realization, born sooner or later, of agonizing experience that its whole relation to Ruach and Nefesh with matter, with the universe, is and must be only painful. The senselessness of the whole procedure sickens it. It begins to seek for some menstruum in which the universe may become intelligible, useful, and enjoyable.
The prime market was going to collapse.
In Kabbalistic language.
And how that was going to create financial crisis. This is 06. So I told everybody, I've got a way for you to profit from this, right? I come to my workshop. I'm going to show you how you can short subprime mortgages, which, of course, they ended up making a movie out of this, right? The Big Short and everything. It was all about this trade, right? Except I was the one lecturing about it, right? I wasn't sitting in the audience. I was the guy that was telling everybody what was going to happen. So I probably had about 75 to 100 people came to my, which, out of the 3,000 that were there, right? So a small part of the people even came to hear me out. After I told them, one of the jokes that I said, you have 3,000 people here. In a couple of years, you'll be able to have the whole conference in one hotel room. Because I said, most of you guys are going to be out of jobs because the mortgage market's going to collapse. And I said, but I have a way for you to make some money on that. So these guys come, and I give my whole spiel about what's going to happen. Of those sent him back $5 million less than a year later. So he made 10 times his money, from 500,000 to 5 million. But the point is, one guy out of 3,000, and I laid it out whole in the real estate. I told him exactly, and these guys should have known because they were in the thick of it. They should have seen from ground zero the fraud, right? The phony appraisals, the liar's loans, the nothing down. I mean, these guys were right at the epicenter of the bubble, the mortgage market. And yet I couldn't convince these guys that real estate was going to go down. Nobody can even, whenever I was trying to tell people about the subprime, the thing that where I always lost them was that in order for it to work, real estate prices had to fall. And they were like, well, that's impossible. They're never going to fall. Well, why not? Why can't they fall? Look how much they went up. Can't they go down? No. People were just conditioned to think that real estate could never fall. So once people believe something, so you have so many people that just believe the wrong thing about the Fed, about the economy, and they're going to be massively surprised by what happens. But anyway, so who wants to talk? Just raise your hand. Remember, I got a bunch of people with mics, but if no one wants to raise their hand, Clinton, you've already talked. Have I got any new people?
I'm happy to wait.
All right. Well, let me see. Okay, there. Well, go ahead, Clinton. No one else got. Oh no, here this guy Noah's got his hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah. Do you think that gold was giving us a sign? Gold has been rising. I mean, it kind of almost doubled, really. I think it was at like 1,600 about a year and a half ago. Do you think that gold's rise was sort of warning us? And especially the last couple of weeks, maybe a month and a half, we saw gold go from like 2,000 to 3,000, like literally randomly. So do you think that gold was warning us that whole time that this was going to happen? I mean, we all knew the tariffs were coming, but we didn't think they were going to be this fucking bad.
Well, gold wasn't going up just because of the tariffs. Gold was going up because the world was de-dollarizing. That was the warning that, gold went up 50% and the public was selling the whole way. I mean, I know that because I'm in the business of gold and sales have been very slow. I also know that the entire rise from 2,000 to 3,000, the investing public was selling gold. There was net outflows from GLD, the gold ETF. There's been selling of gold stocks. So the only buyers have really been foreign central banks. And it's like, well, what do they know, right? Because I've been saying that this is like insider buying. The central bankers are the insiders of the fiat monetary system. And the fact that all these foreign central banks are buying gold and not treasuries and foregoing the yield.
We didn't think they were going to be this fucking
obviously
bad.
They know a lot.
Well,
right?
Gold wasn't going up just because of the tariffs. Gold was going up because the world was de-dollarizing. That was the warning. Gold went up 50%.
Most people don't understand.
The public was selling the whole way. I mean, I know that because I'm in the business
money,
of gold, and sales have been very slow. I also know that the entire rise from
when Greenspan was Fed chairman, and this shows you how long ago it was, he used to say that even though we weren't on a gold standard, he ran monetary policy as if we were. And what Alan Greenspan said was that if he sees the price of gold going up to $400 an ounce, he knows that he's too loose. And if gold goes below 300, he's too tight. So he used the gold price as a reference. So if, according to Alan Greenspan, $400 gold meant that the Fed was too easy, what the hell does $3,000 gold mean? I mean, so the whole time that Powell has been claiming that they had restrictive monetary policy, gold was saying, you're too easy. You haven't raised rates enough. That's the problem. That's what I said. The Fed stopped hiking too soon. We never actually got to restrictive. But the other way you know that is that the debt never stopped. The government kept borrowing. Government debt hits record highs. Household debt, credit card debt. All the debt kept growing. Well, inflation is an expansion of money and credit. How you claim to have tight money when credit keeps growing? So credit kept expanding the whole time the Fed was hiking. That means they never got to the point where they hiked enough. So we never got restrictive. We've been accommodative the entire time. Right? So, I mean, the Fed is responsible for the calamity that's about to unfold. You know, I mean, again, maybe Trump is the pin to prick the bubble, but he didn't inflate the bubble. The Fed did.
Why do you think that he went from reciprocal tariffs to punitive tariffs?
But the other way you do that
first
is,
of all, in order to, I think the whole thing is unconstitutional, and I think it's illegal.
Totally.
But the reason that he had to say reciprocal was his justification, because Congress seated the president with the authority that constitutionally belongs to Congress, specifically the House of Representatives, because tariffs are revenue bills, they're taxes on the American public. But Congress gave the president the authority to impose reciprocal tariffs if he wanted to. And what they meant by reciprocal was they put a 5% tariff on our lumber. We can put a 5% tariff on theirs, right? Tit for tat. Whatever they do to us, the president can match it, right? So what Trump did is he took that authority for reciprocal tariffs and he just redefined reciprocity to mean that even if a